All right, friends, we're back and I've got my decarbonized hat on, which means you know that this is going to be serious. So been getting a lot of questions about building performance standards and wanted to do just a really high level kind of summary of 5 key aspects that are common on building performance standards, cut the jargon out and just address it at a really high level. So first, this very, very scientific graph, which shows time on this axis, and here an increasing level of things like confusion, frustration, questions, and maybe some complaining about potential costs. So let's help reduce some of the jargon and confusion and learn more about building performance standards because they are legal regulatory requirements and should be treated as such. They're not optional. If you've seen my prior videos, you know where I'm at with that. So first thing, building performance standards are new regulatory tools. There's very little precedent. The oldest one we have is 2018 in Washington, D.C. So there's not a lot of history to look to. This can make folks, including myself, nervous sometimes. But this is also an opportunity to be collaborative. And many of these building performance standards are going through the rulemaking process, ironing out nuances, things like that. So they're pretty new regulatory tools. We're all learning as we go. The second thing, they put existing buildings in the spotlight. We're all familiar with building codes and how those address new construction. Building performance standards are really the first time we focused on decarbonizing existing buildings. Next point, legal requirements all fall to building owners. This is consistency across jurisdictions, but tenant impacts count and tenant usage really matters. So again, an opportunity for owners and tenants to really work together, and maybe more than an opportunity, but a requirement at this point if we're going to get these buildings in compliance. So legal requirements fall to owners, tenant usage matters. So this will get to the bonus point in a minute. Keep that in mind. Buildings have to achieve a performance requirement. That is where, thus the name, building performance standards. So we're looking at something that's, again, outcome-based, not prescriptive. Obviously, there are some exceptions and some alternative compliance pathways, but generally speaking, projects that fall within scope have to achieve a performance target, thus the name. All right, buildings must comply or face real penalties. Again, there's obviously some exceptions to all of this, but generally speaking, those penalties are also based on square footage. So that means the largest buildings potentially face the largest exposure. Again, lots of different nuance to this, but there are real penalties. And so keeping that in mind, we're thinking about how we're going to comply, thinking longer term towards decarbonization, etc. And our bonus point, your lease needs to be updated. The great majority of leases out there that exist don't even address building performance standards. And this is, as I mentioned, a key legal regulatory requirement with nuance, technical details, and other things that should be addressed in a lease. And just so we're clear on this, a lease does not need to be 200 pages. We can make leases that are effective much shorter than that, and they should also address all key legal and regulatory requirements, building performance standards being a key one. Chances are your lease is silent on this. It's time to update it. So, any questions, need help with compliance, updating leases, things like that, reach out. Happy to answer questions. Hope that helps. Decarbonize.